Good morning, everyone. This is Micro Gardener bringing you an update to my window gardening. I recently moved apartment and I restarted my gardening, my favorite hobby, and some of the plants have nicely taken off. And I just want to do an update to that. This here, I've got I've got some basil plants. I bought it as a seedlings from small plants from a supermarket called Carrefour. They sold it in a container, small container, and I replanted it in this bucket. It's a self-watering container, and it's nailed to this side wall. Why I have done it is that I live in the second floor, and if I don't do it by, it's a very small window sill. I don't know whether you could see it. It is not even. It has a step like two-level window sill. This is a photograph I took before, and you can see it in the next photograph. I have how I have kept my containers. Initially, I thought this was a disadvantage and I couldn't grow anything in that. So I did a little bit of modification to my whatever planters I got containers, and I was able to take advantage of the situation. And in fact, it this worked out to my benefit. So why? What I was saying is that this, why I pinned this, because it doesn't have any barrier. And in fact, I had another container initially, same, almost the same years, and then uh, it I had not pinned it, like I said, so I lost that container. It went down 2 stories, straight down. I don't know where you could see it. So that's the end of that container. So now I have pinned all these containers. So this is basil, and I just did a harvest today. And basil has to be harvested rigorously, otherwise the plant will uh, get to old age. And I'll do a separate video on this basil plant, how to grow it. And here got another container. It has got dwarf joy weeds. It's a very healthy, nutritious leafy green, and very easy to grow. But one thing you have to be careful is there is a look-alike, very similar to this. The leaves are same shape, and that's not a very good. It's a weed called alligator weed, which is a health hazard, and I will do a separate video on how to identify this plant as well against the alligator weed. So this is in a container. It's not a self-watering container, but I did a different system here. So I wanted to water it during, now it's winter in where I live in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So the weather is very nice. Winter here is not harsh. It's very pleasant weather. You can grow a lot of plants. But the summer gets very hot, maybe closer to 45 degrees Celsius, even 50 some days. So you can't grow everything in summer, but there are you can take certain precautions and maybe retain some of these plants. And mukulun is very it is a adaptive plant, you see, and it needs our water, but it can tolerate hot, humid, as well as dry conditions. It is almost like a weed, and it proliferate very profoundly. Um, so anyone can grow this plant. It's very special, very popular among some Asian countries like India, Sri Lanka, and so it's very easy to grow. And here I got another small container. I just recently started planting. Same Mukluwenne again. And in here I got another self-watering container. This is where I feed, I water it from bottom. So this is two containers, one on top of another. The bottom part is the reservoir for water, and this is how I feed it hydroponic solutions, as well as water it with this bucket. I mean this hose. And the Mukluwenne is it grows rigorously, and it's almost, this one is almost ready for harvesting. And this particular container, I made a bit of mistake, and that was giving it too much of fertilizer. And you know, sometimes you do some mistakes, and you had to face the consequence. See, some of these leaves are burnt. This is because of over fertilizing. I suppose too much of nitrogen does not do any good for plants. So what I did was I researched it in the net, and the only thing I could do was to dilute the soil. So I kept on watering it profoundly. And you have to keep watering it regularly, not to make it too much. But anyway, since I started watering it regularly from top, usually I water it, as I told you, from this from here through the bottom containers. So the watering is self-watering, but because of this fertilizer burn, I watered it from the top, and now new shoots have come and I don't find any burn in that. So that was a learning curve for me. Anyway, everyone does mistakes, and then you learn from your mistakes. So here in this bucket, again a self-watering container, I've got shallots, and it has taken off very nicely. And you must be wondering why I'm planting it on a self-watering container, because shallots is from the same onion family, or relatives of onions, and onions don't like too much of water. But since I live in a hot and dry place, it needs at least a regular moisture to be maintained. But I'm very careful on how much water I put here, because I had previously tried to grow shallots and I was not successful. I hope this time it will grow well. So the trick is you don't over water it, but try to maintain. You have to check the soil condition, and just to maintain a regular moisture level. And in here I've got a curry leaf plant. Curry leaf plant is well known. It's a herb used in. It's actually a tree. This grows to a big tree. See, this curry leaf is used mostly on Indian dishes, curries, and it's a very difficult plant to grow from seed. I started this with seeds. Actually, I had two plants growing, and then one did not take off at all. Even this one took such a long time for it to start growing. I had it in a bigger pot, and then for some reason it was not growing. It was almost dormant. No new leaves were growing, but it was not dead as well. You see, it had maintained the green. So initially I thought this will die, but anyway, it has taken off. What I have done here is that I put in a small container, bucket here. I made a self-watering setup here, um, from a ice cream jar, ice cream plastic container, and I've just improvised this. And again, I'm very careful how much water I feed. I don't, although the setup is for self-watering, I don't keep it always in. I don't water a lot. So at the moment, the bottom is empty. There's no water. So and when required, I feed this curry plant hydroponic solutions. And I wanted to in fact change this into a hydroponic system. I just want to see how this plant takes off, and then we'll see from there. So folks, this is an update to my latest setup, and I have another two Windowsills, and I am trying to do some modifications in those windowsills, and try to grow some plants, and I will bring you an update as soon as I get it going. So thank you folks for watching this video. Have a nice day, take care, and we will meet in another video update.